with yet another interesting topic that is playing lives and definitely with some solutions. So today's topic is just a sec. And having a mindset. Hi, Preeti.
Hi. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. I was just introducing today's topic that you're breaking the burnout cycle and have a mindset that will, as you know, shift where one can strive. Okay, because in our fast-paced life, burnout is no longer about exhaustion. It is physical, mental, emotional, and also spiritual depletion. Whether we are trying to say yes to others, whether we are chasing perfection, or living under the constant pressure of proving our worth, this session is going to be a wake up call. Okay, because in this session we are going to explore powerful mindset shifts, how to frame those inner thoughts that trap us in the burnout spiral, and learn emotional regulation tool that is going to bring us back to balance. It is not about becoming a different someone. Okay, it is about returning to ourselves, less driven by the anxiety, the stress, guided more by awareness and choice. So this is what we are going to do. And thank you, Preeti, once again for coming to our session and enlightening with the very aware or would required topic to tell our viewers more about you. Preeti is a very interesting and multidimensional profile. She has been a homemaker for a very long time. Then she found her calling. Today she is an internationally trained neurolinguistic programmer. She is into life coaching. She is also a CBT practitioner. There's another very interesting dimension about her, as I was telling. She has found her calling in writing. She is an author of not one, not two, more than two books. Okay, and she's been a part of searching soulmate for a very long time and has been guiding us with our way ahead. More than anything, she is a wonderful human being. So welcome, Preeti.
Thank you so much, Sunindita, for all the appreciations, your kind words, your introduction, and inviting me for such a wonderful interaction. Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much.
much. Thank you so much. So my first question is, what exactly is burnout, and how it is different from being just tired or stressed?
Okay, that's a very interesting thing and very important to understand because this is something which has been really increasing with time, with the
Yeah.
technological developments, with the kind of league that everybody is into, especially in the corporate world and otherwise as well. So, if let us just consider a simple thing, if say we are all using a mobile phone now, when it is new, we know the battery capacity. It would go on even if we are charging it for some time and then keep using it. Even if it shows alarm thing that's it's 20%, you need to charge. We go on and on and on, and gradually we see the mobile as it's aging, maybe a year, 2 year, the battery capacity goes down because we have not been taking care of the battery. We have not been charging enough. So similarly, that is what our body goes through. It is more of the emotional part of it. which starts with our brain and with our mindset, our mind, our emotions, where we ignore our calling, ignore our emotions, ignore various priorities, and we push ourselves to the edge where we then are not able to deal with the conditions that come up, which is not just physical, emotional, and even at the soul level. So burnout is exactly like the chronic pain that anybody kind like might experience in a physical level. It is the burnout is that in the mental level where you are always fatigued no matter how much rest you take, you will continue. It becomes a perpetual thing. The fatigue, the exhaustion, the burden. You feel you're carrying something on your shoulders which is very much invisible. That is what is burnout, which completely affects your productivity and the quality of your life.
Yeah, because as you said that burnout is just not a workplace buzzword nowadays. It has become like a silent epidemic. People are juggling deadlines. They constantly trying to prove their worth, and many of us are stuck in the loop of chronic stress, uh, trying to achieve perfectionism and trying to please people. So, as you said that it comes with a very, very heavy feeling and it is invisible. Okay. So, what are the symptoms? Difference from the regular tiredness or burnout reasons?
See, regular tiredness, if you say you've gone on a 2 days, 3 days weekend work scheduled or some meeting which has been running or some workshop which has been running, and maybe after 3 days where you've been putting in a lot of efforts, a lot of time working, you get tired. You take some rest, a good night, a good sleep over of 10 hours or 8 hours, and you are fresh again. So your tiredness goes away. What is stress? Stress comes when we keep pushing our work, not finishing things on time. You'll get stressed. But once that's taken care, it goes away. But burnout is when you are prolonging all your stress. You are, no matter how much you rest, you don't feel fresh. No matter how much sleep you take, you still don't feel charged. Those are the symptoms of burnout, that you're always feeling fatigued, you're always feeling exhausted. Simple things start triggering you, where whatever used to be of your taste or what would be something that you would like to go for, you would want to avoid. You
Mm-hmm.
stop enjoying the things which you were enjoying previously. That's a very subtle symptom of burnout. Why all of a sudden would somebody stop enjoying going out with friends? Why would all of a sudden somebody stop watching movies which they were enjoying? So these are very subtle signs that the person is going through a lot of emotional turmoil, a lot of inner conflicts, which is really burdening or pulling the person down. Those are the symptoms of burnout.
Okay. Okay. In that case, what kind of thoughts typically, okay, will burn out without us realizing it?
So, very thankfully, we are brought up in a culture where we are supposed to first do for others, then for oneself. So
Very,
this we are, it's deep rooted. It's very
yeah.
deep rooted.
Mm.
And so there's this inner voice always playing in your mind that, somebody depending on you. This is your responsibility. You cannot say no. You have to do this. So this inner voice that keeps playing inside and pushes you to keep stretching beyond your limits is the main cause for the burnout, where you don't even know your inner voice would be, it's not enough, you can do a bit more, go, and you need to be available. If not you, who would be doing it? So this inner voice, this inner conversation is the culprit behind the burnout, and we have to be very watchful of this.
Which means it cannot be restricted only to professional life. The same can happen in our personal lives also. And you look at it, a human being has two sides, professional and personal. Okay, so keeping in mind, as I said, the same thing can be felt by homemakers. Okay, I think in that case, even children.
Absolutely. So these days, when the world is very close to you,
Mm.
you can travel any corner of the world. You are watching not just your neighbors, watching people across the globe on social media. The pressure is more. The comparison is way beyond imagined what we used to go through. So the burden has increased.
Okay.
The parameters have increased. So the burnout scale has also increased, where people are experiencing, even children, where maybe the pressure is not coming from the parents. Maybe at times the parents are understanding, they are giving a good base, but the peer pressure, the peer group has enlarged. It's enormous now. So it's
Mm.
not just restricted to the things that you're saying. Unknowingly, the parents are maybe appreciating other children, or maybe watching too much of the reality shows where they are glorified, the children are glorified, their talents are glorified. So the pressure, the scenarios have changed so drastically. So has the burnout reasons. It's all the more seen in each and every age group, no matter in whichever scale. And professional life cannot be separated from the personal life, because that is the base of it. So, in the personal field, if you're not able to balance, if you're not able to look into what is needed, what is your priority, you will not be able to balance it in the professional front as well. You will carry your traits, your inner voice to the professional field as well, because you
Yeah.
carry your values all along.
There has to be a balance. Like if I'm not, if like I'm burnt out because of my professional reason, and if my personal life is not balancing, then I'm further burnt out. Okay. Like I know a friend, she is hardly 29, 30, yet she did a dream job in a very large advertising firm, and she was so thrilled about it. She was giving 200, 400% of her. Okay, and like being available, first in, last out, no weekends, always on calls, and a few early recognitions. But after a point of time, after 1.5 years, like one day, she couldn't take it anymore. Okay, and it was as if she told me, like when she went to therapist, of feeling, and she was not realizing that she was feeling burnt out. She was feeling very unproductive and unenergetic. So her therapist told her that in office or in professional life, one does not work to earn your rest. That was a shift in her mindset, and that's what changed in her. The same job, the same commitment, she started replacing it more, productive. What do I say? Concepts, terminologies, which was different earlier. So that is how it is. So my next question to you is, how does perfectionism play a role in burnout? This is very close to my heart.
And that's very interesting, because have you ever been to the gym and run on a treadmill?
Yeah, I have.
So, perfectionism is like running on a treadmill where your finishing line keeps moving with you.
Yeah,
So you will never actually achieve that. And perfectionism is something like that, where you never feel that you have done enough, it's good enough to be actually executed. Suppose initially I have myself faced it when I was writing my first book. It took me more than 1.5 years, because I always felt there's something more I should do. This is my first book. How can I just leave it like this? This is not good enough. There has to be something more. And I was pushing it way I would say, three manuscripts of mine which I had rejected after completing. So imagine I was pushing my dream away from me. I was pushing the outcome away from me only because I never felt it was good enough.
But
But
isn't that trying to, I'm just
yeah,
not contradicting, but I'm just trying to understand also for the viewers that when you try for perfectionism, which means you want a better version of yourself. Maybe you're not happy with what you are having to offer, you want to make it better. Is that wrong?
that isn't wrong. But tell me something. How would I know whether whatever I have produced is it? I mean, it is like learning to become perfect before you step into the water. You cannot learn to any skill until unless you are out there on the ground. So if I don't finish and put it out, how do I know where I can improve more in the future?
Okay.
Even once you are sitting on the driving seat, you have to start driving to become better and better at it. So even for a person to become better at any skill, you have to keep implementing it. You can't just keep preparing yourself. So perfectionism comes in where the task is not getting completed. You're actually just trying to prepare and prepare. Once it is finished, then you know that where the corrections can come in, then you can improve on it.
In that case, what about, seasoned professional? Suppose now that you have already written three books,
Yeah.
do you still strive for that perfection? Do you still strive for that improvement? I'm sure you do.
Yes, see, again, we have to understand that God has not created anything perfect in this world.
Agreed.
So that we can always keep growing towards betterment.
Got it. So,
Always growing towards betterment. Even now when I am writing, it's a vast field. Writing is a vast thing. There are so many concepts, there are so many ways at it, there are so many topics to it. So now tell me something. If I wouldn't have published my first book, I wouldn't have written the second, I wouldn't have written the third. In fact, I have finished five. So
hmm.
that wouldn't have come in. So I understood done is better than nothing. And that is what we need to understand that, once you are too much trying to prepare, and then if the deadline comes, you will want to just give it out. And then what happens? All your efforts, you will not even enjoy the outcome because you will feel, oh, I wish I could have done more to it. So imagine you will not value your own efforts.
So it's like trying to strike a balance, where you draw a line. Is that so?
I would say it's like trying to come out of that loop or come out of that space where you think you can uh, create something very perfect.
Okay. Okay.
Because your definition of perfection would be different from another person.
So similarly, like perfection, do you think uh, people pleasing is does contribute to burnouts also?
Oh, a lot. Because we don't even realize this, and you are like literally taking me back and back to my past, where I have actually gone through all of this myself before I rediscovered myself, and I have experienced burnout where uh, it had severe repercussions on my emotions and my physical health and everything. So I can relate to everything that we are discussing. And that is where I actually started my journey coming out of my burnout, rediscovering self. So people pleasing is so much in there in so many people where you want to be accepted, you want to be right, you want to be that ideal person, and in that efforts, you forget where you need to say a no, where you need to move away and not be available. And you're not trying to be your own self just to please others, you're trying to fit into what they want. And that cannot continue for very long because it is like you are emptying yourself to fill others' cups. And how will you fill another cup when you become empty? You cannot pour out of an empty jar. So burnout is actually emptying your own self. In the effort, in your endeavors of trying to fulfill what others are wanting. And people pleasing is just doing what others want from you, not what you want from your own self. Forgetting your own self.
Okay. So, so now we know the various factors that causes burnout. Huh. What can a mindset shift um, that's that someone can start with today to better manage the burnout?
First of all, it is very important to accept oneself. It
Very.
is very important to accept oneself. It is very important to have the courage to be oneself. And also believe that you will be accepted the way you are, and you have to accept others the way they are. With that, the shift comes in where you start telling yourself you don't need to be available all the time.
So,
The shift has to happen when you start prioritizing. Prioritize your own needs, be it physical, emotional. Uh, so when you start prioritizing your needs, your time, your availability, you learn to draw boundaries. That is when you are preparing yourself not to face the burnout again. You are preparing, you will enjoy what you're doing, not do anything just out of any kind of an obligation, not just out of a responsibility. You'll enjoy the responsibility as well. Being a mother, being a homemaker, then moving into profession. I know it took me long before I could start enjoying because I was trying to avoid that guilt as to, okay, I'm not giving time to this, I'm not giving time to that. Oh, wait, I promise you, I will not ignore my responsibilities. So you have to come out of that. Your own mental framework, that shift has to happen, that you will be accepted the way you are. People are ready to accept once you start respecting your own self, respecting your own boundaries. So that shift is very important.
okay. So, having understood this, um, is there a quick, CBT exercise to help someone regulate their emotions in a burnout phase? Can
Yes,
you share an easy method?
yes, absolutely. See, it's very simple, just three-step formula where you can literally deal with anything in life.
Okay.
Similarly, that simple framework is used even in burnout. First is to becoming aware. You have to be very uh, mindful and aware of the thoughts that's coming to you whenever you're in a situation that's creating or triggering your feeling of worthlessness or your feelings of being used. You have to catch yourself thinking, pause as to what's happening. What are the thoughts that's going on in the mind? Once you are aware of it, then you have to question. You have to be an advocate and literally ask yourself, if somebody else was coming to you with the same problem, with the same thought, what would you advising to that person? I'm not good enough. I did not do much. I could have done better. Ask yourself, you have to be that advocate to the other person. Because you once, until unless you move away, we are all very good advisors.
Hmm.
So keep the problem in front of you
Yeah.
and you become the advisor. Let somebody else be the person who's going through that problem, and now you give that advice as to
Yeah.
what that person should be doing.
Hmm.
Is that really what the person is thinking? Is it just an assumption or is it really a fact? So that reality check has to be there as to whether the thoughts that's coming up, is it coming up from some lack of skill or is it actually just coming out of assumptions? And then when you have that thought process, it is then time to reframe. Yes, I have done enough and I can always improve the next time. I need not always blame myself for anything that's going wrong. I need not always be too harsh on myself. So this three step of becoming aware and then challenging whatever thoughts are happening and then change the thought that's coming. This helps a big way in dealing with whatever comes in life, any thoughts that come up in mind.
So the first step is being aware and mindful. Second step
Yes.
is challenging the thoughts, and the
Mhm.
third step is dealing with thoughts or acting.
Reframing it,
Reframe.
reframe what you are thinking as to towards a more meaningful and a productive way, which will let you move forward in life rather than stopping you from being yourself and moving forward in life.
So, is this activity, this three-step activity, you do it with yourself? Is that more productive, or can you do it with someone else also? Maybe a professional, maybe a friend, one very close to. Uh, you know, is that possible?
Yes, absolutely. See, from when we used to study, we were told if you teach what you have learned to your friend, it becomes a part of you. It becomes a part of your memory. It becomes very natural. It's imbibed. Similarly, it's very easy to work on another person than on oneself because we always want to change someone else before we change our own selves. Why not try this out on somebody else? And because then the mind it starts working for you also.
Why I'm asking you, I'm coming from the thought that maybe at that moment I might be very conflicted. So when I ask myself those questions, I might not come up with the uh, right, solution. So some people can. I'm not saying that everybody is like it, might not get the right answers. In that case, can you do it
See,
professionally or
it's always, yes, it is always advised that in that when you are actually in that burnout phase where you have not heard, listened, or paid much attention to the symptoms and started taking action on it, in that burnout phase, you certainly need help. You will not be able to just deal it yourself. You need an accountability. Maybe someone else can be there from the family or your friend who can help you, or you can always consult an expert where they will help you make this a habit, and then it becomes easier to take it forward because when you are at a peak of anything you are not in the position to deal with it alone. You need the support, you need the care, you need that validation that yes you can do it and you can come out. So it is advised that whenever you are in a situation where you feel you are not able to manage things on your own, call out for help, go out for support.
that itself is one big task which we can discuss on some other session. So very much, Preeti. If I have to sum up the session today, viewers, burnout, as you said, is very different from feeling physically tired. It is more of an emotional situation, a condition where one feels burnt out. Okay, as the term said, a paper looks perfect, but if it burnt out at some point, it is not perfect, and there is always a reason. Okay, and there are many thoughts that contribute to our burning out, and especially it comes from the self-worth issues, that if I am doing enough, if I am worthy enough, okay, if this is right or wrong, and we cannot draw a line of where to stop. Okay, and one of the few reasons which contributes to burnout is to be perfect, which is perfectionism, and people pleasing. Now both can be exhausting. Okay, really, not only physically but emotionally also exhausting, and this can happen to anybody, whether you're a professional, whether you are a homemaker, whether you are a student or a young adult. Okay, and it uh, how we can cope is to have not change ourselves as a whole, but to have a different mindset. The shift in the mindset helps. And how we can do that? By implying three steps if we do it ourselves. One is to be aware about the situation more mindfully, then challenging the thoughts that are coming to us, and then finally, once we have the answers, reframing. Okay. Anything? Have I summed it up? Pretty.
Very well summed up. You have covered all the points that we discussed. And yes, this is something which we can keep talking about. So maybe we can come up with another live where we can talk in depth about it, because this is something which is very, very something which we need to look into, because many people are facing it. You listen to the young adults who get into work, and after maybe 5 years of working, they say we want retirement because they're all exhausted trying to chase something which was way beyond their limits and potential. So yeah, this is something which we can go on talking. And yeah, so people should become very aware of the symptoms and not get into a burnout.
To help people understand, I think one should definitely watch the movie Metro in Dino. It talks
Okay. Yeah.
now that I'm to you and I'm realizing it. I
Okay.
talks about what happens when a relationship gets burnt out.
Mm.
The pressure of responsibilities of and doing things together in a relationship. So as I was while preparing, thinking that it is not limited to professional life. It also affects our personal life. So, anything else you would like to see as an expert?
I would say self awareness is the most important thing in the current scenario. If we are not aware of our own selves, our own potentials, what triggers us, what childhood conditioning we carry, which are affecting our behavior, which is pushing us towards different activities, the way we are in relationship, the way we are handling our family, various roles, there's a base to it. Until unless we realize that, until unless we work on that, we will get into the trap of burnout, because we haven't addressed the root which is coming from our childhood, which is coming from our conditioning, and even from the past life, which is very in depth. So it is very much important to becoming self aware
Hmm.
and start being more compassionate towards self before actually being compassionate towards others, because we know we cannot fill any other's cup until unless our jugs are full. So that is very important.
Because the individual, मतलब इंसान तो एक ही है, and he or she has to play so many different roles.
Yeah.
Personally, professionally, father, son, brother, husband, name it, and it is there. You know?
Yeah.
So, as you rightly said, if I'm aware, then I'll be able to give my best. I'll be able to work on my limitations and my triggers. So,
Well, it's also important to understand that along with self-awareness, it's very important to understand that we have seen a huge transition in a span of 20, 25 years. So we have to recollaborate, we have to realign and grow and adapt to different things that's coming up. We cannot stick on to certain things which were very much valid 40 years from now, 20 years from now, and keep moving. You cannot stretch the rubber band. It has a limit to it. So it breaks and then it's the burnout. So there has to be a lot of growth, there has to be a lot of progress, and unknowingly, when you have to realize that unknowingly, are you resisting to certain things? Are you resisting to that change and adaptability, which you will get to hear when people start criticizing, आजकल तो ऐसा होता है. You will understand that the person is not moving on. So it's very important to be not just self-aware, also open to changes, because we are in that fast growth era, and we have to be. If you, I mean, if naturally the speed of the treadmill has been increased, you have to.
yeah.
Even that you have to increase on your emotional intelligence, your resilience. You have to work on these things if you want to, protect yourself and move forward healthily.
Thank you so much, Preeti. Thank you so much for your insights. It was really lovely talking, and I'm sure our viewers going to get a lot of clarity about what they need to do, how they can compose themselves, and how they can help themselves. Okay, and thank you very much again. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much. Thank you so much. Even I thoroughly enjoyed the session,
Yes,
and I hope it adds value to the lives and people who will be watching this. Thank you so much.
thank you so much.
Take care. Bye bye.
Yeah, you too.